Hi, Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. In this video I scratch an item off my honey please do list. My wife had a pizza cutter with a very ugly nondescript handle. I'm going to replace it with a handle that has a Celtic knot. Now normally with a Celtic knot people say that you have to start with perfectly square stock and then you get a 4-loop Celtic knot. I say phooey on that. I want to start with round stock to the size of the stock I want to finish turn, and I will make as many loops on that as I want. I've made 4 and 5 and 6 loops before. This one, just to prove that it can be done in 3 without going to triangular stock, will be a 3-loop Celtic knot. So I have to use expensive jigs if I'm going to do anything neat, don't I? Well, not really. Just to prove that I can do it out of total scrap, here's my sled for cutting the Celtic knot. The only other piece is a paper template that I created on my computer, or I could have done it by hand, that makes a template for the end. So let's show you how to make any number of loops on your Celtic knot.
This is a piece of maple from a friend's tree that blew down 3 years ago. At that time, I've roughed it into a cylinder, sealed it, and put it away to dry. Now I need to true it again to trim out a bad spot. While I'm using my chuck, this could as easily be done between centers. With the cylinder size established, I can use my favorite drawing program to create my template. The template indicates the center, the size of the cylinder, and a regular polygon with the number of sides equal to the number of loops for my Celtic knot. The polygon is drawn so that its sides touch the cylinder circle. In this case, this is a triangle. Then glue the paper templates to thin pieces of wood. I used perforated hardboard because I had a lot in the scrap pile. Cut out the paper templates, stay just outside the line. Next, sand to the line of the paper templates. Now, screw the templates to the ends of the cylinder. The center divots help make this easier. Here I missed a step. I forgot to apply some hot melt glue to hold the template from accidentally rotating, which it did. Mine rotated slightly after the first slice. On one template, label the points of the polygon in order that they will be cut out. Otherwise, it will get confusing later, especially with a greater number of loops. I previously prepared a simple sled. I'm using hot melt glue to attach an angle guide to the sled. Another small piece of wood positions the end of my workpiece. Now for the repetitive part. I'll do this same thing for each slice in my Celtic knot. Using hot melt glue, I'm attaching a piece of scrap to the top side of my workpiece. This will keep the wood positioned in case I'm cutting completely through the workpiece. It also keeps the workpiece from flexing. Next, using the sled that is holding the workpiece in exact position, saw through the workpiece, but not through the scrap reinforcing it. Make the cut in a single pass to have it as clean as possible. Watch where your hands are. No slot for the hands. Glue in the slice. The wood needs to easily fit in the slot, but not too loosely. Use a glue with a long set time, such as Titebond Extend. I'm using a piece of laminate to spread the glue to the sides of the slot. Leave the glue to harden, and if at all possible, do not change anything on the saw to avoid having anything change. When the glue is dry, remove the scrap reinforcing strip and trim back the corners of the slice. I used the bandsaw, but please be careful. Then rotate the workpiece to the next position, add the reinforcing scrap to the new top of the workpiece, and saw the slot. Then glue in the slice and let the glue dry again. On mine, the strips do not go completely through the workpiece, but they are enough for my desired finished diameter. After removing the reinforcing strip and trimming the slice, again rotate the workpiece, glue on the reinforcing strip, cut the slot and glue in the strip. Let the glue dry at least overnight, not just to let it harden, but also to let moisture content stabilize again from all the moisture in the glue. Another reason I like Titebond Extend is that the glue line is much harder and has less tendency to show a bump later after sanding. Finally, I get to turn again on the lathe. The first task now is to cut a tenon so that I can reverse the workpiece into a chuck. I have to use a chuck to be able to drill the opposite end. There are other ways to drill, but this method yields the best results for me. With the wood remounted, I can true it to the new center axis and reduce the diameter. With it closer to my targeted dimension, I'm marking out critical points. I want the knot to be on the thicker part of the handle. This requires me to shift the layout down the wood away from the tailstock end. Then I can part off the excess and clean up the end. Next, to drill out the mounting hole for the metal cutter. I'm using a 1/2 inch diameter Forstner bit with the desired depth marked with masking tape. Now I'm switching the live center to a cone center, but only applying gentle pressure from the tailstock. I don't want to split the wood. At this point, I can size the end to fit inside the ferrule on the pizza cutter. Before going much further, I'm parting down to the diameter for the bottom of the cove in the handle. I'm stopping just shy of the target to allow final smoothing. Now to smooth out the flow of the handle. This is a great time for a skew on spindle work. It is a very versatile tool for spindle work and yields a smooth cut for sweeping curves. The skew gets a bad reputation for nasty catches. Spiral threads are especially obnoxious. That is why I practice with it on spindles whenever I can. Time to sand. I went up through 320 grit. Now to wood burn my signature. My flip-down magnifiers help a lot to see the fine print. I also brought up the tool rest to use as a hand rest. After sanding, I like to sand again lightly with the final grit to clean up the edges. For this pizza cutter handle, I'm finishing with my beeswax and mineral oil mix. I can use this as a sanding media as well as a finish. It's immediately food safe. Then reverse the handle to clean up the end. To insert the cutter piece, I had to relieve a slot slightly inside the 1/2 inch hole for the rectangular metal. I was expecting to use epoxy to hold the handle on, but the pressure between the metal tang and the ferrule was so tight, I'm letting it be and glad I'm not having to take it apart again to glue it. This same process is easily adapted to any number of loops in the Celtic knot. Just draw more sides in the template polygon. I want to try other adaptations too, but for now, my pizza cutter handle is finished. The maple was harvested from a storm-downed tree, not an expensive exotic wood. The handle is dressed up with a Celtic knot. After all, with pizza being in the foundation food group, it deserves a bit of formal wear. We'll see you again next week for another wood turning video. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and tell your friends. Always wear your full face shield. Goggles are not enough. Then keep on turning. Until next week, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns.